It has been almost 4 years since the last ship type was added to Sea of Thieves, the rowboat, with its predecessor and the main third ship type being the brigantine. With so much of the community wanting to see a new ship, but a path or not seeming feasible, let's take a look at how this could be implemented, as I believe I've actually found the solution. As opposed to some other concepts I've designed in the past, I can genuinely see this being added, so let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so let's talk about the most obvious ship, the Man of War. This boat is something that most people want to see added to Sea of Thieves, and currently is not very feasible. This 5 to 6 man vessel has been designed by many members of the community, and even 3D modelled as seen by the content creator, Shoot Here for XP, right here. As you can see, the proposed Man of War has 5 decks, one more than the galleon, with 2 decks of cannons, and an overcover for one of the exposed decks. 3 sets of sails with 3 to 4 individual sails inside each set, and it just looks visually stunning. Technically speaking, there is an argument to be made that the Man of War is already in Sea of Thieves, just not usable. In Sea of Thieves Pirate's Life, we do see the Flying Dutchman and the Black Pearl, both of which more or less follow this exact 3D model. So here we can visualise what a Man of War could look like, and now that they have the model, could we be expecting to see it in game? In my opinion, no, for a variety of reasons. The first of course being technical limitations. Aside from the physical hardware of the old Xboxes not being able to handle more than 24 players in a single session, I mean already if there are 6 galleons in a server and all the players are in close proximity, due to the sheer amount of PvE events that go on in Sea of Thieves, the game has a literal stroke and melts down on the floor in a big pile of sludge that then gets poured into our consoles called ping. Even if technical limitations were not a thing, think about the practicalities of the Man of War, as whilst yes, it would be incredibly epic, it would have to have severe balance changes, such as humongous turning circles, extremely slow in the wind, cannons having a slightly slower load speed, to name a few. Things like damage can remain the same, as it's got the same principle as the galleon, in terms that if it's a bigger target, holes are further away from the top decks, you've got to run down 5 decks if you're at the helm, the bottom 2 decks can be hit and filled with water, the list goes on. The reason for all of this is combat against the sloop would be incredibly rough on the sloop's part otherwise. On an even playing field, 5 to 6 people outnumber a 1 to 2 man vessel, it's common sense. Overall, the Man of War is an incredibly awesome idea, but it's just not practical in the world of Sea of Thieves. What could be, however, is the Sailing Dinghy. I'm not quite sure if this one-man vessel would be sailable from the main menu, or similar to the rowboat, you dock it to the side of your boat like a longboat, but the idea behind this is essentially a tiny sailing boat, as in the name. Take a rowboat, add a small sail to it, a means of a helm, and oars to boost it along. It would sit gently in the water. If this was added, it would also help introduce the repairing rowboats mechanic. As I say, depending on how big it would be, would depend on whether it's sailable from the main menu. For example, you can have it with just a sail and oars like a normal rowboat, or you could have it with 2 decks. Think of a brigantine, but you shorten it down quite a bit with 1 sail. Down below there's a cozy bed snuggled next to a map and a quest table. The feeling of this would be cute, quite comfortable. This could still have oars to help propel forward if more speed is required. And you could also put 2 cairns either side, and there you'd have a quaint one-man vessel. Almost the feeling like a barge? Not quite sure about this. There's something missing from this though. For most of us, we just wouldn't use it. So what's the way we can make multiple more ship types while keeping appropriate technical and practical requirements? What's the way we can really get people hyped throughout the game again? The way we can reignite the pirating flame? We make a skeleton Man of War instead! In all seriousness though, I propose different variants of ships, and hear me out here. Of course we need to keep the default sloop, brigantine and galleons, but by having variants we can in fact merge two ideas that people have wanted for a long time, customizing the layouts of boats and having new ship types. Let's take the brigantine for example. After the select ship screen in the main menu, there's a select ship type screen. There's the default layout of course, but then there is also, for example, an Asian layout. This more oriental ship type would give more speed, as you'll be adding another sail, but will sacrifice the cannon power with one less cannon on each side. However, there'll be a single cannon on the lower deck, which can be used to shoot directly in front with a minimal turning circle. The front cannon will also have a slower loading time, but obviously be incredibly useful. This is a perfect idea of ship classes into Sea of Thieves. This oriental boat will focus on quick attacks, but will not be able to withstand long, with its enhanced speed and frontal cannon. However, when hit with cannonballs, holes will have increased size, making the boat more of a target. The second class of boat could be a British design. This traditional naval vessel would have increased firepower with an extra 2 cannons on each side, increased harpoon range, and 2 frontal top deck cannons. To balance this, you would have to heavily decrease speed, and universal cannon load times would have to increase by 1.5 times, alongside a weaker capstan, mast and wheel. The final ship class we're going to look at is one which should have hull toughness increased, being able to withstand hits easier, and fire not spreading as quickly. To balance this, cannon fire rate would slightly decrease, and the boat would ride lower in the water, meaning that any back deck holes would have the same fill rate as frontal holes. This is just scratching the surface of a form of ship class system, but for each major vessel you can have 4 different classes including the default. One with increased speed, one with increased firepower, and one with increased toughness. It could make for some really awesome combat, especially with the potential stunning visual differences. Let me know what classes you'd like to see and the balance changes that would need to be added for that. This idea may well have to be stripped back a bit and made more simplified to be added into Sea of Thieves, but a sort of ship class system is something I could definitely see being added. Even if there are no perks to the different ship types, and even if they are literally just visible changes, it would really freshen the game up, and I think every player would appreciate that. Let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comments below, what ship classes you would like to see, as I'm really interested to hear. And just before the video ends, I did want to mention I've actually set up a second channel under the name The Hogwarts, which the links will be down below too. I'm basically covering a Hogwarts Legacy, the new and upcoming Harry Potter game over there, so if you're interested in its development, please do go check it out. It's a brand new channel and I'll see where it goes, see where I can take it, basically just trying something new. But anyways, that does just about bring us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please do consider leaving a like, it helps me out a ton. It may seem like a small thing to you, but it really does support the channel. And please consider subscribing to stay updated with all the latest Sea of Thieves news as and when it comes out, and why not hit the bell as well. If you do want to go the extra mile, you can become a channel member for just a small fee a month to earn loads of cool perks and rewards. But anyways, apart from all that, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.